Hello, everyone, welcome back to the Impact Report. Please subscribe and like my videos. Today we dive deep into one of the most explosive developments shaking Eastern Europe right now. Lukashenko cornered. Belarus generals refuse orders, Moscow on high alert. This is not just another rumor from the opposition. Reports and viral discussions point to a serious rift inside Belarus's military elite, where top generals are reportedly refusing direct orders from President Alexander Lukashenko, pushing his iron-fisted regime to the brink and sending shockwaves straight to the Kremlin. As Belarus's long-time leader faces what could be his most dangerous internal challenge yet, Moscow watches nervously, ready to intervene if the situation spirals. Let's break this down step by step like we're reviewing a high-stakes machine that's starting to malfunction under pressure. Exterior: from the outside, Alexander Lukashenko's regime still projects an image of unbreakable strength and Soviet-style solidity. Picture the Grand Independence Palace in Minsk, its imposing white facade gleaming under the winter sky, surrounded by the vast Independence Square, where massive parades once showcased Belarusian military might. The national flag, with its red and green stripes and ornate ornament, flies high over government buildings, military bases, and the iconic Minsk Hero City Monument. Belarusian soldiers in their distinctive camouflage uniforms, bearing the red star and national insignia, stand guard at borders and key installations, while portraits of Lukashenko adorn public spaces, reinforcing the cult of personality built over 3 decades. Landscapes of rolling Belarusian fields, dense forests, and industrial cities like Minsk and Brest evoke a sense of enduring stability. Yet cracks are appearing on this exterior. Reports of generals refusing orders suggest the polished surface is hiding deep fractures, with the regime's outward confidence masking internal turmoil that could lead to chaos if not contained. Interior: now let's go inside the regime, and this is where things get massive and really concerning. The interior of Lukashenko's power structure is a sprawling, tightly controlled network of loyalty, fear, and patronage that has kept him in power since 1994. At its core is the presidential administration, the KGB still called that in Belarus, the Interior Ministry troops, and of course the armed forces, all woven together with personal ties, financial incentives, and the constant threat of repression. The Independence Palace serves as the nerve center, where Lukashenko holds marathon meetings with security chiefs, issues decrees, and monitors every potential threat. Deep within this system are the generals' high-ranking officers in the Ministry of Defense, commanders of special operations forces, border troops, and elite units who have long been seen as the ultimate guarantors of regime survival. These men, trained in Soviet academies and rewarded with privileges, dachas, and influence, were supposed to be the unbreakable shield against any coup or uprising. But now, according to multiple sources and viral discussions, several top generals have outright refused direct orders, whether related to heightened combat readiness, potential mobilizations, or crackdowns on dissent. This refusal isn't just disobedience, it's a seismic shift, signaling that the fear factor is waning, patronage is drying up under economic pressures from sanctions, and perhaps even quiet coordination with opposition elements or Russian influences. Inside military barracks and command posts across Belarus, from the secretive bases near the Ukrainian border to the training grounds around Minsk, whispers of discontent have turned into open defiance. Officers who once saluted without question now hesitate, weighing the risks of following a leader whose grip on reality and power seems to be slipping. The interior is no longer a fortress of unity. It's a labyrinth of suspicion, where every promotion, every order, and every meeting carries the weight of potential betrayal. Economic strains from Western sanctions, dependence on Russian subsidies, and the shadow of the Ukraine war have eroded morale, with soldiers and generals alike questioning why they should risk everything for a regime that increasingly looks isolated and vulnerable. The KGB vast surveillance apparatus, once omnipotent, now struggles to contain leaks and rumors spreading via telegram channels and encrypted chats. Political prisoners fill the jails, opposition figures remain in exile, but the military elite, the very people who crushed the 2020 protests, appear divided, with some reportedly refusing to escalate against their own people or to deepen involvement in Russia's conflicts. This internal rot is profound. The regime's heart, once pumping with absolute control, is now faltering, and if generals continue to refuse orders, the entire structure could collapse from within, leading to unpredictable outcomes from a palace coup to forced Russian intervention. The interior is vast, complex, and now dangerously unstable, a house of cards built on loyalty that's crumbling under its own weight, with Moscow peering in, calculating the risks to its own security and influence. Performance when it comes to performance. Lukashenko's regime has historically delivered results for its core supporters. Stability in a turbulent region, low unemployment through state control, subsidized energy from Russia, and a strong hand against Western influence. The military has performed drills with impressive coordination, border security has been tight, and Lukashenko has navigated crises like the 2020 protests and Wagner mutiny mediation with apparent success. But in this current crisis, performance is dropping sharply. Refusals by generals indicate a failure in command and control. The regime's core engine isn't responding as it should. Moscow is on high alert because a weakened Belarus could destabilize the Union-State alliance, expose flanks to NATO, or even invite internal Russian-style challenges. The performance metrics loyalty enforcement, rapid mobilization, suppression of dissent are failing, and the regime's reliable output of obedience is stalling, risking a full breakdown. Safety features. The safety features of this regime are the mechanisms designed to prevent collapse. The KGB surveillance, riot police, loyalist units like the interior troops, and the ultimate backup Russian military support via the Union-State agreements. Nuclear, capable systems deployed from Russia add a deterrent layer, but these safety features are malfunctioning. Generals refusing orders bypass the chain of command safeguards, while economic sanctions erode the financial cushion that buys loyalty. Moscow's high alert status shows even the external Russian backup is being tested. Intervention could be needed, but it risks backlash or escalation. The safety net is fraying, leaving the regime exposed to internal shocks. Unique selling points. What makes Lukashenko's regime stand out in the region? Its unique selling points include fierce independence rhetoric despite deep Russian ties, a welfare state model in a post-Soviet space, rejection of Western liberalism, and Lukashenko's personal charisma as the father of the nation. It offers stability to those fearing chaos, cheap energy, and a bulwark against NATO. But in this crisis, these USP are turning into liabilities. The independence talk rings hollow amid Russian dependence. Stability is crumbling with military dissent, and charisma can't override generals' refusals. The unique edge is dulling fast. The price of maintaining this regime is skyrocketing. For Lukashenko personally, it's the risk of losing power, exile, or worse. For Belarusians, it's continued repression, economic hardship from sanctions, isolation, and the threat of war involvement. For Moscow, the price is potential intervention costs, instability on its border, and diverted resources from Ukraine. The high price tag, political, economic, and human, is becoming unsustainable, pushing the regime toward a breaking point. Conclusion. In conclusion, Lukashenko cornered. Belarus generals refuse orders. Moscow on high alert. represents a pivotal moment that could redefine Eastern Europe's power balance. What started as whispers of discontent has escalated into open defiance, exposing the fragility beneath decades of authoritarian control. Whether this leads to a dramatic fall, a Russian bailout, or a tense standoff remains uncertain, but one thing is clear: the regime is no longer invincible. Stay tuned for updates, hit that subscribe button, like if this analysis hit home, and drop your thoughts in the comments. What do you think happens next? Thanks for watching the Impact Report. See you in the next one.